check into your body. Just a quick scan of your body now. What's going on in the forehead, cheeks, neck? Just notice what you're carrying in the body. If you notice any areas of stress or tension, that's not a problem. It's good that you're aware. You might even use that stress or tension as an anchor to keep you in the body. It could even be helpful in your mindfulness practice. But if you bring your attention onto it, that brings you into the present moment, which takes you out of thought, and you might find that tension starts to relax and ease a little bit. So we're just here and now. I want you to find something to hook onto, something to anchor you here to the present moment. Could be a sound. Sound of the fan or a car outside. Or it could be something you're looking at. Breeze on your skin. Temperature of the room. Or the ache in your shoulders. We're just looking for hooks, things to hang on to keep our attention here in the present moment. Are you getting the idea? It's because your body is the anchor to mindfulness. So, how are you getting on? You living juicy? Sucking every juicy drop out of the experience of being alive? We can try, can't we? But my guess is 4 weeks in now, you're already starting to get some glimpses, and maybe life is a little bit juicier. But don't take my word for it. You keep plugging away and see what happens. Did you know that being mindful is the answer to every single problem that comes into your head? What problem have you got now? We have situations that we might need to deal with now, but a problem is a mental construction. And whatever challenges you face in your life, being mindful is always the solution. Would you like to be happier? I've yet to meet anybody who doesn't, so I'll assume you do. Well, if you're not doing that painful and destructive thinking, and my guess is, even though you've only been practicing for a few weeks, some of you, there's probably thousands and thousands of times already where you have brought your attention back into the present moment and stepped out of some pain-provoking or upsetting or problematic thinking. Am I right? Well, you're doing that, aren't you? I mean, not all the time, of course not, but more and more often you're doing that. And every time you do that, then you're going to be saving yourself from some distress, from some misery. And if you're doing that, well, you might feel a good deal better. And although there's a certain addictive pull to some of these really painful thinking patterns, every time you come back to the body and you break that, you're getting some relief of that. So yeah, you're going to be a good deal happier, aren't you? If you're not doing the worrying thinking so much, or you're not doing the angry thinking, or you're not beating yourself up, or you're not engaging in your mind when it's moaning and complaining, then there's a pretty fair chance you're going to be a good deal happier. If you want to be healthier, be more mindful. God, I've been reading some stuff today about what high levels of stress and constant stress does to your immune system and to your physical health. Whoa! It would stress you out if you read it. But your body's not designed to be in a permanent state of stress. Now, if the present moment demands it, then yes, the fight or flight response kicks in, and yes, stress is helpful. But oh dear, a lot of people are almost in a permanent state of stress, and particularly with this COVID madness going on. You see, it's a terror. I mean, you know, to be constantly in that state of stress is absolutely devastating to your immune system. And you know, I think it would be hard pressed to find any physical illness that in some way is at least in some way stress related. No, any doctor would tell you that of course there's a correlation, a relationship between your emotional and your physical health. Now, if you're more mindful, if you're observing your thoughts, if you're being more present, if you're getting more out of your life, you're living a bit juicier, then it's very likely that your physical health is going to be a great deal more, a great deal improved, isn't it? Just stands to reason. Would you like to be more successful? Well, be more mindful. Being mindful doesn't reduce your chances of being successful. It takes a lot of pressure out of being successful, but actually being mindful adds to the possibility of you being successful. Because if you're not stressed, if you're not lost in your mind, if you are able to give your full attention to the task in hand, then your mind is clear. Whatever you do well. You do with a care. You do with a focus, with a creativity, with an intelligence, with an awareness, with fresh eyes, with a fresh awareness, and very likely what you produce will be of a great deal better quality. And well, that's how you become successful, isn't it? And doing things really well. Would you like to be a better manager? Well, if you really want to be good at managing people, you've got to first learn to manage yourself, haven't you? How can you manage people? How can you, if you're not able to manage yourself? The key to managing others is self-management. Can you manage yourself? Can you manage yourself in stressful situations? Can you deal with things correctly rather than reacting and panicking? No, self-awareness, mindfulness is key to managing yourself, and of course that affects your team and everybody, doesn't it? Would you like better relationships? Yeah, wouldn't we all? Well, be more mindful. When you're with people, give them your full attention. Be there with them, not away in your head or partially distracted. Give them your full attention. Listen. It's amazing what you hear when you listen mindfully and listen deeply. Listen with your whole body. Because if you're fully present when you're listening to somebody, then you're able to hear what they're saying, because it's not being interpreted through your own inner dialogue, through your own judgments, through your own perceptions, through your own thoughts. That's not listening. Give somebody your full attention. Listen without translating. And maybe you'll hear more. You'll understand more. And you know what? That person being listened to will know they're being listened to. They will know that you are giving them your full attention. And people tend to respond very well to that. There's another level of communication there. I'm making sense to you. If you want to be more intelligent, be more mindful. Becoming more intelligent. And you're developing new areas of your brain. You're developing areas of your brain associated with higher levels of intelligence, with insight, with creative intelligence, out of the box thinking. You're not going to lose your ability to think. You're not going to lose what you've learned, but by developing other aspects of your intelligence, that makes that so much more powerful. There is no problem for which mindfulness is not the answer. If you're facing a firing squad in 5 minutes, you want to be present now, don't you? Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet surrender. Do you know, this is the most perfect mindfulness practice. And as your practice becomes more advanced, you'll find this is the only one you need. Surrender. It's the one people struggle with at first. Because I can hear now, surrender? Can't do that. If I surrender, I'll be weak. If I surrender, I'll be powerless. If I surrender, the world will walk all over me. That's what you're thinking? Well, you're wrong. Surrender is strength. Surrender is power. Surrender is the only intelligent response. Nuts? What? What are you on about? Let me explain. When we surrender in mindfulness, we only surrender to what's real. The present moment. You haven't got to surrender to what has happened or what you think is going to happen. You haven't got to surrender to any of that stuff because it's not real. All we have to surrender to is now. The present moment. You haven't got to surrender to the past and the future because you're making it up in your head, and if you're not creating, you haven't got to surrender to it. But what you do have to do is surrender to now, because it's already too late, isn't it? I don't want this now. Tough. It's too late. So when you're resisting the present moment, you are resisting reality. I don't want now. And? It shouldn't be. It is. I don't want reality. Well, good luck with that. So when we're surrendering to the present moment, we are essentially embracing with reality. And that takes a lot of suffering out of life and opens up some hidden potential there, as we'll explore as we go on. But the present moment is it. It's already here. It is reality. And if it's not what you expected it to be, that's because your expectation was wrong. Not the present moment is wrong. Your expectation is wrong. And that gap between your expectation and reality causes suffering. This is kind of one of the challenges when we're living in the future, because when we're living in the future, when we get there, is not like it was supposed to be. Reality is wrong because it's not like a thought I made up in my head. Can you see the problem in that line of thinking? Now is wrong because it's not what I thought it would be. That's not intelligent. And it doesn't help you because it creates suffering and closes you down to the possibilities that are here. I mean, would you believe it? As soon as I get out of the house, it starts to rain. I've got this nice little walk between my house and the shops, and I did a bit of future thinking, and I thought, well, I'll have a nice little walk along the river there to the shops and back, and I'll do that mindfully. That will set me up for the day, and I've got some editing to do today, and it'd be nice to be sort of focused and have a nice clear mind. But as soon as I get out of the house, I've discovered, as usual, I'm wrong. It's not like I thought it would be, and it started to rain. Now, what do? I can resist the rain. And that's kind of a national pastime, isn't it? The weather is wrong! Yeah, okay. The weather doesn't care. And if you're going to resist the weather and you choose to live in the UK, then you're really going to suffer. So let's surrender to the weather. Okay. Got a coat. I'm dry. Let's live a little. Okay. Has the rain spoilt my walk? Well, only if I let it. Because actually, in reality, no such thing as a miserable day. There's a rain experienced through a miserable mind. So I take my miserable mind out of the equation. I'm going to do this. What's going on, isn't it? And I take my miserable mind out of the equation. And how would it be if I used what's here as I intended for a mindful walk? That's a meditation there, isn't it? Feeling the rain on my skin. God, you've ever really that smell you get when it's been dry for a while and it starts to rain. And it's all coming at life. Did you see? But actually, when I let go of my resistance to the rain, well, it takes away an enormous amount of suffering. The rain's wrong, the rain's wrong. Oh, I didn't want rain. Well, okay. That's one way to walk. Okay, it's here and now. It's not how I thought it would be, but then I'm wrong again, as usual. It's okay, it's all right. And actually, it's presented me with an opportunity. Not only is it really quite lovely out here when I'm not wrapped up in a miserable story in my head. Can I do this? But actually, what it's given me is a really good opportunity to teach you some mindfulness. Teach you about surrender. So actually the letting go and the allowing of what is, not only has it relieved me of the suffering associated with my resistance to the rain, but it's opened up possibilities that weren't here until I accepted the totality of this moment. And wow, do you know what? It's all right, isn't it? I love walking in the rain. So you wouldn't notice that if you were resisting the rain, would you? You know what? I like walking in the rain. So, home now. And would you believe it? Just as I was really getting into the rain, it's gone and stopped. Oh well. Sweet surrender, eh? At least I've still got these flowers here. When you hear that word should, shouldn't be, should. Each one of those shoulds is a contraction. Well, it is. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you don't take steps to change things. Now, this isn't necessarily being passive. I'm not saying that mindfulness is passive. Not at all. Come into the present moment with me now. So you're really, really here. Let go, align yourself with what is. So absolutely accepting what's here right now. And that changes your state of being, that brings you into this place of mindfulness. Action may arise from that. You may find yourself doing things to change the present moment. But it's coming from somewhere very different. Instead of it being a reaction, this is wrong, this shouldn't be, it's okay. Well, this is how it is. And, okay, I could do this, or I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. But so often, what I find is that the possibilities that appear through surrender are often better than the possibilities that we were frustrated that didn't occur. How might that work in a business setting, let's say? Well, I suppose you've already experienced it in your industry, haven't you? As smoking has pretty much died out in a lot of places. What do you do? Well, do you resist that? Well, good luck. Or do you adapt and change what you do? Okay, smoking's dying out, we will produce vape juices. It comes from a place of acceptance. Let's suppose tomorrow, I'm not sure it would happen, but let's suppose tomorrow somebody decided they were going to make all smoking and vaping illegal. What could you do? Well, that's what happened. You might petition Parliament, you might try and pull strings, you could do all of that, but what if that didn't work? What would you do then? Well, tobacco. What other possibilities are there with tobacco? It's a medicinal herb. It's been used for thousands of years as a medicinal herb. Smokers seem to do really rather well with this COVID virus. And actually nicotine is showing some very promising properties in terms of dealing with dementia. I don't know. Maybe if something like that's to happen, there would be other possibilities there. And then this is how surrender works. That actually by allowing things to be as they are, instead of resisting reality, we are working with reality. We're rolling with reality, and that's actually a very, very powerful way to live. So hold your attention here with me now. Here and now, this is it. The present moment is all that exists. This is reality. The past and the future are unreality. If you are in disagreement with the present moment, that's telling you something very important. If you are in disagreement with this present moment, It means that you are wrong. Not the present moment is wrong, you are wrong. So I'd encourage you to agree with the present moment, even if it's not what you chose. Or maybe, how many people even chose this present moment? That changes it, doesn't it? Come into the present moment with me, stay here, stay in the now, so we're going to allow this moment to be as it is. There you go. It's better, isn't it? This is mindfulness. Can you see how you do that? As you accept and you surrender to the present moment and you let it be as it is, how, of course, that brings you deeply into this place of mindfulness. One of my favourite books, the Tao Te Ching. It's the one of the Taoist texts, one of their main texts, the Tao Te Ching. Wonderful book, 2,600 years old. Fabulous wisdom. It talks about flowing like water. The Tao flows like water. So we adapt and change according to reality rather than resisting reality because it's not what we thought it would be. Because if you are in resistance to now, if you're in disagreement with now, it means that you are wrong. Not now is wrong, you are wrong. And the sooner you realise that, the better, because each time you realise you are wrong and you align with the present moment, you become more right, because you are rolling with reality. Okay, it's not what I thought it would be, it is what it is. And when we do that, there's a whole new energy, a whole new power, a flow that comes to what we do. Now we are entering a time of great change. And the people who are most successful in this period of great change will be those who are the most adaptable. The people who aren't mindful or holding on to the past will suffer. And they may find themselves paralyzed, trying to rebuild something that's gone. Stuck. Unable to effectively deal with the present moment because they are holding on to what was. Others will be resisting reality because it's not what they thought it would be. So their expectations, are still holding on to their expectations and how the future will be, and that's not how it is. The most successful will be the ones who adapt and change according to reality, embrace the present moment, and seize the possibilities that are here that others can't see because they're resisting them, and maybe explore possibilities here that we couldn't see when we're hanging on to what was or what should be. I think one of the most useful things to consider with surrender is, do you actually know whether something is good or bad? Have you ever experienced something in your life that you labelled as bad, and then a few years later you might consider that be good? And a lot of my work in mindfulness has been with addicts, many of who have suffered terribly, and I could find you 100 people today who would tell you they are glad of the suffering that they went through there, because it changed them and turned them into the people they are today. It taught them mindfulness. And I think that's one of the big lessons of surrender, that there is it good, is it bad? Well, what should we see? Because even the most challenging and most difficult situations, or even painful situations, if we can bring a level of surrender to that, if we can work with what is here, then something really good can come of that. Even it's your own personal growth and development. Life's tough sometimes. It hurts. Maybe our resistance to that adds to our suffering. We'll look at emotions a bit more next time. But this ability to embrace the totality of this present moment, even if it is uncomfortable, there's a possibility there. But let you discover that for yourself. Here's what I want you to do. I'd like you to hand in your notice. No, not from your job, from the other job. I want you to resign from your job as master of the universe. Who put you in charge anyway? Jack it in, because the universe, it won't do what it's told, and the job is stressful, the pay is rubbish. Just jack it in. I'd encourage you to let the universe look after itself. It was doing just fine before you turned up and started interfering. How many people just let it go? Instead of deciding how everything should be, just let it go. Do you know how other people should be? They should be like this, they should be like this, they should be like that. They're all doing it wrong. I find when I accept people, how so often that allows me to see other aspects of them that I couldn't see when I was resisting certain parts of them. That's all I could see. And when I accept that, yes, okay, you're a bit boring, you talk a lot of rubbish, I accept that, but God, you know what, you're a good person. Your heart's in the right place. And by the moment you do accept people as they are, they become more acceptable. And that takes a hell of a lot of stress out of life, doesn't it? They're all doing it wrong. It should be like this. The world should be like this. Now, I'm not saying you don't take action. I'm not saying that you don't do things to change that. But the only power you have to affect the world and to change other people is how you respond to it. And that's all down to your level of mindfulness, your level of allowing of the present moment. But actually, if you want to affect change in others and in the world, then accept the present moment completely. And actually that acceptance is incredibly powerful. Now, particularly when we accept things about ourselves. It came as a shock to me to realise I was an insufferable fool. But a really useful thing to know. Because it's only when we accept aspects of ourselves are we able to change them. All the time we don't accept aspects of ourselves, then we are stuck. God. And this is the wonderful thing about mindfulness. wonderful thing about surrender is it allows you to be wrong. That's what mindfulness teaches us. It teaches us we're wrong. And every time we realise we are wrong, I'll fly there. I surrender to that, shall I? Doesn't stop me getting the fly spray out and killing it, but I surrender to the fly. So we accept our flaws. We accept ourselves. We accept our stupidity. We accept our mistakes. Wow. Isn't that powerful? We haven't got to defend our mistakes. We haven't got to defend our wrongness. Because in defending your wrongness, you're wrong, aren't you? If you're acknowledging your wrongness, you're getting a lot closer to being right. And that's what the present moment teaches you. It is constantly telling you that you are wrong. And the more readily you are able to accept that, the more you're able to align yourself with the present moment. And you're right. Are you going to be a dinosaur and become extinct because you're living in the past? Or are you going to be tripping over your feet trying to get to a future that doesn't exist anymore? Or are you going to embrace the present moment, manage yourself consciously and mindfully with whatever this present moment throws at you, and make the most of the possibilities that are here? Your choice. Let's finish now with a very nice little meditation practice. It was a very powerful little meditation, this, a bit of fun. But just relax into your body. Just relax into your body. Maybe hold your attention on your breathing. Center your mind on the breath. And now I want you to take your attention into your feet. Feel inside your feet. You may, if you're lucky, notice a kind of tingling feeling in your feet. An energy. Don't worry if you can't, it doesn't matter. Maybe if you can't feel the energy in your feet, for now just imagine your feet glowing white, a white light. But if you can feel the energy in your feet, just focus on that. And as you hold your attention there, I'd like you to feel the energy getting stronger, or the light glowing brighter. Until your whole feet are buzzing and alive, or glowing white in your mind. Now I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, I want you to draw a wave of energy from your feet to the top of your head. And as you breathe out, you're moving that wave of energy from the top of your head back down to your feet. And I want you to move that energy up and down the body with each breath. And as you move that wave of energy up and down the body with each breath, I'd like you to either notice energy in other parts of your body, vibrating faster and faster. Or if you don't sense the energy, notice your body glowing in other parts, glowing brighter and brighter, white light filling your body. as you're moving that light, that energy up and down the body with each breath. Until your whole body is vibrating and alive, or your whole body is glowing with a white light. Now I want you to rest in the energy in the body. Just rest in the body. Just rest. If your mind carries you off, gently come back. Resting in the body, here and now. Let go. Let go. Stay with me. Stay in the body, just resting in the energy field of your body. Stay with me. Stay with me. Now holding your attention in the energy field of your body. Resting in that white light. Holding your attention in the body. I want you to take this state of meditation with you now as you open your eyes. Right. Your homework. Watch your thoughts. Live in the now. Live juicy and surrender. And you have 1,000 opportunities for surrender every day. Every time things aren't going right, go left.